Well, all right there. Hello, guys. We're going to be doing something a little different today, as you can tell. Um, because of the debate coming on, we're in the living room. We're not in the studio. So I expect to either do this show rather quickly, or if you guys want to watch the debate with me, you're more than welcome to. I expect it to be an absolute farce. Both Trump and Biden are in my backyard today. So I heard Biden got into Marietta around 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then Trump was coming in, not through the Air Force Base. He, of course, was coming in through Hartsfield International.
He flew coach.
Yeah.
He flew economy.
Probably not. Well, that's true. He may have come through PDK.
It was a prison transport.
So, but yeah, both of them are here. And I really don't know what to expect out of this. It's either going to be really good or really bad. They've got it set up where the moderators all have mute buttons, which I expect them to abuse. There is no audience, which means they could be delaying everything and cutting things out, and we have no idea. Nobody would be there to say what they had done. So there's a lot of really shady stuff going on. But my advice to Mr. Trump is to just not say anything and let Biden hang himself. Maybe bring out Kamala Harris. She can trip over some words. So how's everybody doing? I will give you one update that we have going on. I went and picked up my bike today. So while it's not finished, it is finished enough for me to go up to Thunder in the Smokies, which I'm going up to tomorrow. And then, of course, I'll give it back to them to finish the rest of the work. So if you remember from the rant I did last week, I gave them solutions. They acquiesced to my solutions, and so I've got the bike halfway done back. Lots of footage coming for that episode, whenever we discuss all of it for sure. But that's what's going on there. We also went and saw the Bike Riders. That episode was released today with the review for it. And I don't know if any of you guys saw it. If you did see it, let me know. It's really worth going to see. If they say something, let me know.
Oh, yeah. They said it will probably be talking about the political thing.
Yep.
It will probably be really bad. I will probably this is Oki on two wheels. I will probably just get upset watching, but I'm going to watch anyways because, well, sometimes I am not smart. And Evil Rick says, I think it's going to be a typical one-sided debate.
Yeah.
I said it's probably going to be an even mix of comedy and tragedy.
They say, rumor is that Trump is going to announce his running mate today.
Ooh.
So the only thing that I know as far as insider note to that is Vivek Swami, whatever his name is.
Swami.
He is in Atlanta today too. That doesn't mean he's the pick, but he's in Atlanta.
Maybe he's just
watching the
fanboying.
debate. That's not allowed to have an audience. So
Oki is asking a question.
yes, what's the question?
Did any of y'all watch any of the 92 presidential debate?
As in 1992? Yes.
No, as in 1892. Did you happen to catch that one?
Yeah. I got into watching politics when I got old enough to actually care. And I watched I was really heavy into the McCain-Obama thing and was very disappointed.
Oh, he said it was on before tonight's debate.
Oh, then no, I did not see that. But, yeah. So, anyway, we went and saw the Bike Riders this last weekend, and if you haven't seen it, you probably should go and watch it, particularly if you're interested in the club stuff at all. I did the review. It was released this morning. There's a lot of history and homage to the way that things have been in the past, where things came from, that sort of thing. Definitely worth going to see. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. If you did see it, let me know. If you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to, we could talk about it in the future. It's perfectly fine. All right, let's see what else we got here.
Ray's on, and Ray says that he knows that they're just going to do what they can to make Biden look good.
You know, they're gonna be cutting stuff off. I know it's gonna be a shit show.
Yay!
I don't trust CNN at all, and the people that are moderators are actually people that have worked for the Democratic Party before. I mean, how is that okay? They have a new job? That makes it okay?
I'm going to need more wine.
So, rally-wise, last weekend was Junebug Boogie, Harley Rendezvous, and Motoblot. Did anybody go to any of those that's on here, or that's watching in the future? Let me know in the comments.
Oki said that the 92 debate was pretty enlightening. Ross Perot was the libertarian candidate I wish we could have today.
I wish libertarians had a shot at winning. Unfortunately, these elections always come down to who you're going to vote against versus who you're voting for. And I would love for the libertarians to get a strong enough party and to have a strong enough following to actually have a chance. You know, this whole donkey and elephant thing, that wasn't the only show in town, but it is now. And it has been for years. But used to be, you know, back earlier on in the country's history, they weren't even there. You know, we had the whips and we had all these other parties. We had like 5 or 6 parties running at the same time. Now, Dos Amigos, that's it. It's like we're only taught we have 2 choices. And that's because they're the 2 major and nobody else, I guess, has the money. I don't really understand why we don't pay any attention to the other ones. But, yeah.
Oki agrees that we're all going to probably need some more booze, some hooch for the debates tonight.
All right, so this weekend we have Route 66 Bike Week in Oklahoma, Rumble Through the Valley, and then Thunder in the Smokies. Thunder in the Smokies is Maggie Valley, North Carolina. That's where I will be. So if you are hanging around in the North Carolina area or in the mountains, stop by, say hi if you see me. I will be hanging out with, there's a couple of people that I'm going to see when I'm up there. There's another YouTuber that we're meeting and doing a collab with, and I'm not going to say anything else about that in case it goes horribly wrong. But I'm supposed to be
Because if it does, you won't see anything about
supposed
that.
to be meeting somebody else up there to do that. And I'm going to be hanging out with the guys from Breezy Rider. They're going to use alchemy to display their product at their tent for the majority of Saturday. So those are my plans for being up there. So you could probably find me hanging out. If you do, please stop us, say hello. Let's see, I will be up there tomorrow night and then coming back on Sunday. It's actually not too far from here. It's 3-4 hours?
Yeah, about 3.
So it's closer than the Florida ones. And then over 4th of July, of course, we're going out to Texas. We're going to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have been told to go to the Stockyards and something called La Hacienda, which is a restaurant. So somebody that I knew told me, make sure you go to these places. We have Mexican restaurants here. I'm not a fan of Tex-Mex, but hopefully it'll be good. I don't know. It came very strongly recommended. In Stockyards, I have no idea what that is. So if has anybody ever been to Dallas-Fort Worth and you know what that is, please let me know because I don't know. Like I told you before, I'm not actually the one that's driving. The friend that I'm going to visit is the one that's going to be kind of in control of everything that's going on. The only thing that I know is I'm going to be getting the Indian Roadmaster so that I can do some riding and do a review of that while I'm out there. That's the only thing that I know that I'm doing. Other than I've been promised to get a Shoiw, Texas visit, whatever that means.
Oh, we're going to a rodeo.
Are we actually going to a rodeo? Did you say
Midget
that?
wrestling.
Midget wrestling. Okay, I might bring you some midget wrestling footage.
That would be bonus content. You want to watch midgets wrestling in Texas?
Yep.
Sign up and join our Patreon.
Well,
would you guys give $5 to watch some midget wrestling in Texas?
If it's not inappropriate, then it could be on the normal channel.
Well, yeah, but it's not that it's inappropriate. It's just going to be like highly sought
Special,
after.
yeah. Oh, goodness. Let's see. Next weekend is the Iowa Freedom Rally that we talked about in Algona, Iowa. And then the weekend after that is going to be Gettysburg Bike Week in Pennsylvania. So it is not close to any major cities that I would go to. It's about 3.5 hours away from Pittsburgh. It's near the Maryland border in the south central side of Pennsylvania. But they have all the typical stuff that you expect to see. And then the week after that is going to be Little Sturgis, which is also known as Kentucky Bike Week. Now, I'll be talking more in depth about that as far as the riding and that sort of stuff next week, next show, next Thursday. And I'll be in Texas. So on Thursday of next week, I will be in Texas. So I will be broadcasting live from wherever my friend can set me up when we're out there.
You guys are getting a look at my dirty ass kitchen in the back.
I've got a couple of things that I had planned to talk about before I realized that the debates were going on, but I've put those on the back burner. So next week, of course, we'll talk about, as far as our little side conversations, we'll talk about Texas and Independence Day, and then we'll leave the cops versus motorcycles conversation for the week after that. So that's my plan.
Okay, so Rick is asking if we've ever been to a midget toss.
But toss me!
He said a midget toss is where the person wears a Velcro suit and somebody throws him against a wall with a hook part of Velcro on it.
No, I have heard about it, but I've not seen it. It just always makes me think of the...
It's amazing.
What was that show? Lord of the Rings. Where
Toss
the little dwarf guy was like, go ahead, toss me. Because, it's taboo to toss dwarves. And he was like, toss me.
You should never... Public service announcement. You should never toss a dwarf unless explicitly asked to.
Do you guys know the difference between a dwarf and a midget? I found that out when I met a midget that was not a dwarf. Give you a few minutes to respond. Yes, so we're going to midget wrestling, we've been told. I have no idea the situation. What?
Rick says that the difference is how it's spelled.
Hobbits!
I mean, you're not wrong, but you're not entirely right either.
A midget is anybody that is under, I think it's 4'11" and under is a midget. But if you are, if you're a dwarf, you literally have the what is it, condition? It's you genetically you have dwarfism. Mm-hmm. That's different. A midget's just a little person. It's just a little person that happens to be less than 5 feet tall.
Honestly, one of the biggest differences between a midget and a dwarf is the size of the limbs to the head ratio.
Yeah,
if you want to get technical about it. Yeah. Because dwarves, or midgets have a tendency to be more proportionate. They're just small. And a midget is somebody that has a normal-sized head and abnormally short limbs.
And a dwarf carries a +10 pickaxe when he goes on adventures. So.
And he hi-hos. Where all the places he goes.
Oh, goodness. Let's see what's going on here.
Okie says, by that definition, my wife is a midget.
Hey,
She's
there you go.
49.75. And I bet she is holding on to that 0.75.
She can check a box, maybe. Maybe you can get some sort of, disability funding or something.
Do you get special parking with that? Rick says, when I was in Dallas, my boss had a hole in his heart. He was only about 4 foot.
Oh, wow.
Really? Wow. What kind of job were you?
Counts as
what
a
kind
midget.
of boss was he? What was your job? That he could be 4 foot
And be a boss.
and be your boss.
Yeah.
Were you working in a mine?
Toss me. That's what he knows about midget tossing.
I can't believe that somebody would like it's a real thing and they stick them to the wall.
Oh, you've never heard of that before? I've seen it in like movies and folklore.
Like,
but
I didn't know
they,
that was a real
They
thing.
put on a Velcro suit.
I thought that was only
they're
in like Adam
tossed-
Sandler movies.
and they're tossed against the wall. I don't know if there's a big bullseye on the wall or what. They get,
would
they
hope
get
so.
paid for that. There's a dwarf comedian. What's his name? Brad something.
Oh, Brad Williams.
He's hilarious, and he of course, because he's a dwarf, talks about it because he can. And he literally did the Oompa Loompa dance. He was like, "Oh yeah, now you've seen it." It was funny.
What? Okay. Rick says that his boss, who was about 4 foot tall, he said, "I was working Jack in the Box."
No.
He was
You had a 4 foot boss working at Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. He
was his name Jack?
He was the manager. I was the assistant manager. He says, "I got him riding a chopper. He thought he couldn't
Nice.
until I let him ride my pan."
That's awesome. I would like to see how he pulled it off. Did you lower it?
Yeah, how is... Well, I'm going to need a picture. You're going to need to comb through your Facebook or your phone and find a picture of this man riding a motorcycle, please.
Yeah, there's people that talk about short people riding and stuff all the time, so I know it can be done. I just don't know that 4 foot without any real adjustments can be done.
Well, I mean, if they
But,
are...
I mean, it's possible. I don't
If
know.
they are a midget and not a dwarf, that means they have normal sized limbs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, technically he could have long legs. Technically, because, I mean, there are normal sized people that have long legs. So, in longer arm. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard enough time knowing that, like, Prince rode a motorcycle.
Yeah, but he was taller than that. I think he was like 5'2" or 5'4", and he rode a Honda Ascot. So, you know.
Oki just said, "Am I the only one picturing Mini-Me riding a chopper?"
Or what's that guy that was with Kid Rock? You can see him riding a chopper.
Oh crap! What was his name?
I can't remember his name. He's not around anymore.
I can't remember.
Looked like the Easy Rider bike. Yep.
I used to know his name. Yeah, because he actually used to tour with another country band. He's part of the Mafia, the
Oh, he was with
Big and Rich.
old cracker guy too, right?
Not the midget, no.
No,
Or the
okay.
dwarf. No, he was with Big and Rich.
Oh, huh, interesting.
What was his name? I don't know. Something.
So what do you guys? What,
Joe C? Was that his name, Joe C?
It may have been.
If that's right, then Oki, you're the big freaking winner for the night. Did you pull that out of nowhere? That's amazing.
So what do you think is going to be the first gaffe in the debate tonight? Do you think it's going to be Biden not being able to find his words, or being spoon-fed something? They say that they're... I know he doesn't have a teleprompter, but they say they're taking his earpiece away too, and he can't have note cards. I find that very hard to believe that they would agree to that.
Yeah. Do you guys think that if Joe can go a whole 90 minutes without sitting down and having a break, that they'll treat him to an ice cream cone afterwards?
Yeah, they get lost on stage. he can't find the podium.
He's just wandering around, and Donald Trump's just straight staring into the camera.
If he does the sit down, let me shit my pants thing, I'm gonna lose it.
Like the imaginary chair.
Yeah. Oh, if you've had children, you know exactly what that was.
I feel like this should be like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of situation where you need just to commentate the entire time.
We need to turn it into a drinking game. How can we turn this into
because
drinking
anything
game?
that you would use as a drinking game, you would be smashed in like the first 20 minutes.
Oh, goodness.
Maybe when he... Oki says They ain't taking his earpiece away, and yes, he will get his ice cream. Rick says, maybe when he tries to shake the invisible man's hand. And then Ray says, not without shitting on the cell. Goodness.
I tell you what, I don't know. I don't know if you saw CNN explaining their new rules, but there's literally a light that is up on the podium, and when the light turns on green, you can talk. If the light's not on, your mic is off. So I expect them to, have Trump's mic off quite a bit. That's what I think is going to happen.
What I really
Either
hope,
that or they're doing it so they can cut Biden off when he starts stumbling.
when he starts being stupid.
You know the thing!
7 years ago. So I think what should happen is that everybody's prepared for we're going to cut Trump off as soon as he starts getting crazy. But I think what's going to happen is, I don't know if this is really going to happen, but what I hope happens is Trump just doesn't talk a lot. And they don't get to use it on him.
I don't know that he can help himself.
This will be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting. He might be the same old Trump, but it would be really cool if he played it more strategically. Because he's got it made in the shade if he just lets Biden bury himself.
Yep. So what do you guys think? Do you want to hang out here in the chat with us while we're watching this? I cannot put it on the screen because of copyright. They'll jump all over me. But if you want to watch it, we can hang out and you can still chat here. Just let me know if any of you guys are interested in that. Otherwise, we've got about 7 minutes to close this out. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out for the short amount of time that we have today. But yes, this is going to be the best comedy of the year, I think. So I'm not going to miss it.
It's like, whose line is it anyway?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, should be fun. Part of me is like, oh, this is going to be great. We should make commentary through the whole thing. But I feel like it's going to be either just hilarious, but probably more likely it's just going to be embarrassing and painful.
Yeah, it's going to be, it may just be sad. I would feel empathy for Biden if he wasn't being propped up by so many people and talking smack because he's been told to talk smack. He's not humble enough for me to feel sorry for him. And I really don't like the economy, which is his job, right? That to be intimidating, he is not intimidating. Hey, look, did you see the American president crap his pants on stage?
I don't really take any very seriously at all.
All right, looks like somebody was retracted.
Yeah, Evil Rick says, I don't have a TV. I wouldn't watch the Comedy News Network if I did.
It's on. It's being streamed on Cinemax.
Cinemax or
Well,
Hulu?
it's not called Cinemax anymore. Max. Yeah, Cinemax.
Oh, Max.
Skinemax. Yeah, everybody has kind of got it on. So. All right, what are we saying here?
Nothing.
So let's see. I have not seen anything else going on with CNN. I know they got a lot of backlash when they started talking about what they were going to do with the new rules, because nobody trusts them. Vivek Swami, what is his name?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, he actually let him have it in an interview, which was interesting.
Ramaswamy.
I'm surprised they didn't cut him off. They did cut the blonde off. I saw that today. The blonde was being interviewed, and they were asking questions that they didn't like her responses, so they literally just stopped the interview. I can't remember anybody's name. She's one of them that works with the Trump camp. I can't remember her name.
Okay. Like a speaker?
Like somebody that goes
like
and
Sarah
talks on his, no, not her, but somebody that talks on his behalf. There's one. I don't know if it's the same blonde. It may be. that's usually very, very vocal. She was in Congress. She's the one that really started wearing the MAGA hats and stuff in Congress. It may be her that I'm thinking about. I'm not sure. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over there, and I will hang out here as long as you guys want to.
You have the volume on?
No, it's not on yet. It's muted.
It's muted?
Yep.
So there's probably going to be feedback or something.
I don't know. If when I turn this on, you guys have issues with sound, let me know and I'll mute the microphone.
So I guess it's not going to be a problem that you're streaming?
I don't know. We'll see. If my TV is internet, so if we have a connection problem, you'll know why. All right, minutes away. Biden and Trump face off in an unprecedented CNN debate. Got to put your name in there, don't you?
Ooh, that is a crappy... Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, it's just it takes a minute.
Ooh, it's exciting. It's like the Super Bowl for assholes. I think if this is the Super Bowl for assholes, I think Sarah Palin should come out and be a cheerleader. She should come out and do the splits.
I was a fan of her. Let's see if I can get on here. Who do you guys think that is the best president that we've had in your lifetime? Just out of curiosity, I could probably guess. And how many of you are actually into politics stuff, and how many of you really don't give a rat's ass? You can answer that for me too.
I mean, even if you're not into politics, if you're into reality shows, this is still interesting. Okay, let's see. Rick says Sarah keeps an eye on the Russians from... I can see Russia from my house.
I can see.
She is such a hoot. I love Sarah Palin. I just think she would be great. I feel like every time the president would have something to do, she would make goodie bags for everybody. Oki says, I am not really old. Rick says, this ain't reality. Oh, honey, it is. It doesn't feel like it should be, but it is. Oki says, I am not old enough to have good opinions, but Trump is the best in my lifetime.
Oh, are you?
How old are you, Oki?
Yeah, are you young?
Should I be censoring myself? Are you a child?
Yeah, I didn't ask anybody's age.
Well, I know. I guess we just assume everybody's old and angry like us.
Get off my lawn!
Oh, look.
Uh-oh.
It's Andy.
Yeah. Minutes away. The question is, are they going to start on time or are they not? Who knows?
I can tell you right now that people are still stuck in traffic here in Atlanta.
Well, nobody's allowed to go.
Rick says, I'm 70, have yet to see a good president. We're still going to see how old Oki. Oki, how old are you?
We're live from Georgia, a key battleground state.
So, Rick, you're not into Trump either? You don't like Trump?
We'll debate the former U.S. president as their party's president.
Oki says, I will be 40 this year. That means by the time I was old enough to pay attention, Bush Jr. was president, then Obama, he sucked, and then Trump.
Yes.
That's true statement.
Yes, you've had a bad run.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one that I remember Jimmy Carter, but I was in elementary school. But I lived through Reagan, and that's the best that I've seen ever since him. So.
You realize they're just gonna be watching us watch something else, right?
Yeah. Well, they can watch it. I don't know if can you guys hear that at all?
Big Tapper, anchor of CNN's The Lead and co-anchor of State of the Union. Dana and I will co-moderate this evening. Our job is to facilitate a debate between
Rick says
the two
Trump
candidates.
thanked the
Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules of the
Cruntons
debate with the
for
audience at home.
maybe Clintons for coming to his inauguration. Told Nancy he likes the guns first. Told Nancy he likes to take the guns first and worry about due process later.
2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals.
Ronald Reagan,
An
yeah.
additional minute for
Yeah.
follow-up, clarification,
It says
or
they can't
response
hear it.
is at the moderator's discretion.
When it's time for a candidate to speak,
Oh, here's the rules.
his microphone will be turned on and his opponent's microphone will be turned off. Should a candidate interrupt when his microphone is muted, he will be difficult to understand for viewers at home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements. There is no studio audience tonight. Pre-written notes, props, or contact with campaign staff are not permitted during the debate.
Ooh.
By accepting our invitation to debate, both candidates and their campaigns agreed to accept these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Oh, let's see if he finds a stage.
I still expect you to be cheating in
He's
some
still
way.
waving to an empty room because there's nobody in the house. Oh, he found the podium.
And please welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Ooh. What's up, Donnie?
He always looks pissed off.
He does look pissed off. He just carries himself that way. Honestly, he doesn't look as bad as Joe, but he does look tired.
Thanks so much for being
He's been
here.
through a lot.
Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy.
Yes,
President
good.
Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of
Wow.
groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And
No,
typical
you're-
prices
it's
have
more than
gone
that.
up 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
Wow, good
Now
question.
take a look at what I was left when I became president.
Really?
Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. Pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying.
Oh,
All this
he-
was not that serious.
Donald has to find his happy place.
It'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment
It's not my fault. It's the guy before me's
It
fault.
was terrible. And so what we had to do
Uh-oh.
was try to put things back together again. That's exactly what
We've been
we did.
unplugged somehow.
We created 15,000
Am I,
jobs.
we're unplugged somehow.
Oh,
Positions.
yeah.
We have 800,000 manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be done.
You got it?
More to be done.
This is your computer.
Yeah, it's got to be plugged in.
I come from
Okay.
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
You got it?
from a household.
Yeah, I gotta figure out how to get it plugged in.
Things weren't able to invent during the month was a problem.
Here.
First
Sitting on-
things,
sitting
price
on-
of gas,
Okay.
price of housing, price of the whole thing. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems.
Hopefully that will still work. If it cuts off, because evidently we've had it unplugged, so the laptop battery's down. If it
Make sure we
cuts
capture
off, we'll talk to you guys again
the
next week.
But I was left with the corporate reason, the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos. Things were in
Wow.
chaos. And so we put things back together.
Trump
We
looks so
realized that we
forlorn.
make sure we have a situation where we now
He's like, do I have to listen to this? I got so much to say.
His eyebrows are so heavy.
to $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table.
Both of these gentlemen look so old and tired.
President Trump.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country, but other than that, we had given them back a a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID.
Yep.
And nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce back jobs, the bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing us.
All right, Evil Rick,
It is
we'll see ya.
absolutely killing us.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you, President Biden.
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world, he's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks the
Really?
greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter
Oh my
is
God, we're gonna watch Joe Biden die on camera.
we found
No,
ourselves in
okay.
a situation
That's
where
nerve wracking.
his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion.
He's like, yes, I did.
It's larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, you know, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have any, this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can. You
Am I
want
allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
Not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was the worst, probably the worst administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last
Oh yeah,
8
they're getting
years,
killed on the way to
under both of your
the helicopters.
administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cut spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was
Is this
going
trickle-down
like never
economics?
before. And we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it. Something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. When the vaccine went out, he did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine.
That's right.
And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent. All of the things he's done, we've become like a third world nation. And it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, he got $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. Then what I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say.
So you're going to penalize them for doing well?
Wipe out his debt, we'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the
What if they
with the
taxed a
COVID.
certain amount to the wealthy
Dealing with
and gave that
everything
directly
with,
to the middle class business owner?
Yeah.
And then the business owner would take a part of that and give it to their employees and raise the minimum wage.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right, he did beat Medicare, he beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare. Because all of these people are coming in, they're putting them on Medicare, they're putting them on Social Security, they're gonna destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security, he will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence, and it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We no longer respect it. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Tana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning,
All right, guys,
the
this
court
can't be very
ruled
good
on yet another
entertainment.
abortion case,
So I
temporarily
think I'm going to get
allowing
ready
emergency
to
abortions
shut her
to
down,
continue in Idaho.
unless you guys
Despite
are
that
really
state's
wanting
restrictive
to get into that.
Former President
Oh, we got
Trump
somebody commenting. I like comments.
for the decision
It says
to
Biden lost
overturn
where he
Roe v.
was and the
Wade
moderator had to
and
save him.
turn the issue
Yep,
over
happens
to
all the
the
time.
states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole
Interesting.
question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, and getting into other things. But every
can't
legal
respond.
scholar throughout the world,
You need me to respond to
the
him?
most respected,
That's right.
What did he
wanted it
say?
brought back to the
He's
states.
talking
And
about the
you-
debate.
Now the states are working it out. If you look at Ohio, it was a decision that was an end result. It was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now,
That's right.
the states control it. That's the vote of the people.
Yeah, it's
Like
up to
Yep.
the
Ronald
states.
Reagan, I believe in the exceptions.
There's so much that they have done, the left, with abusing what even happened. All they did is push it down to the states, which is closer to the people.
And the life of the mother. I think it's very important.
Oh, you just said some
people
really
don't
important stuff
follow
right
your
there.
heart, but you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You gotta
In
get
the,
elected.
in the instance of rape, incest, and life of the mother, those are the important key things.
In the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a
Thank you,
terrible
Nancy.
thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided. Supported Roe. And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous. And this is the guy who said the state should be able to have it. We're a state where in 6 weeks, you don't even know if you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states, that each state have a different rule. But there's so many young women who've been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in, they talk about that. But here's the deal: there's a lot of young women being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters. It's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state line.
Thank you.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world.
He brought up immigration, so
Yeah, he did.
Biden started it.
And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. But they're voting, and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted.
That's right.
Including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have done, everybody wanted it brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic of abortion, President Biden, 7 states, I'll let you do that, this is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I supported Roe v. Wade, which had 3 trimesters. First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman and the state. The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about a woman's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
He's not answering
You
the
can
question at all.
take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. That Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
In Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years,
not-
and it was
that-
taken
that-
away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court.
Just because it has been that way doesn't mean that's the way it should be.
What's he going to do? In fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board, at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border
That
security.
can let him talk.
President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters...
I have to say, I am impressed that he's asking some really hard questions.
We worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, made sure that we are in a situation where you
Biden
have
does
no
give off a
self-defense
grandpa
program across
vibe
the
to
border,
where
with
I
the
can
number
see
of
people
border police there are now.
treating him
We see
kindly.
increased number of
You know, I won't say they're
So
kowtowing to the
by way of
Democrat
border
agenda
patrol,
as much as they just, they look at this guy and they're like, sir, you can answer that in just a minute. Like, because you feel bad for him. You feel pity for him because he's elderly, and not just elderly, but feeble.
That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. It's better than he left office. And I'm going to continue to move into
Oh, wow.
total ban.
That's just not right, is it?
No.
The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. But we have the safest border in the history of our country. The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now. All terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the
So what do you guys think about
all over the world. They're
what's
pouring
going on here?
And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation, because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We have the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who was great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, who endorsed me for
But
president.
you just did.
Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming out in
Thank you, President
caravans.
Trump. President Biden?
The only terrorist who's done anything across the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person coming in his administration, killed three American soldiers, That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying
Yeah,
their
but you just said,
prisons
actually.
to welcome people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second, he said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border.
Oh, he said
everything.
huge. Drink.
He's the one who killed people with a bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying, and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union, because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast, because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all. And he doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse. I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half, because he's done all these great things that we did, and I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people to come in. And
President
it's a
Biden.
very sad day. in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq.
Oh, don't bring that up.
Burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke to all about those heroes that died.
All right, guys, I'm going to shut this down and let y'all continue to watch as you wish.
He was standing with his 4-star general.
Walk with God, everyone.
Yep. We appreciate you guys joining us.
You're the sucker.
Oh, he's getting mad.
President Trump?
We might see a fight, like a fist fight, like a very old, slow fist fight.
All right, guys.
He made that
Enjoy.
Bye.
We'll talk to you later.
we